In this video, we will take a look at the Duplex building. The Duplex was built in 1951, about the same time as the main guest house. But as you can see, it has only 2 guest units instead of the 4 units in the main guest structure. The duplex is centrally located in the historic core section of the park and sits on a slight rise below the water tower and in close proximity to the pool, the gazebo, the stone barbecue, and the historic bridge. The duplex building is typical of the vernacular ranch architectural style, which means that it is an architectural style that reflects local needs, availability of construction materials, and conforms to local traditions. Vernacular architecture relies on the design skills and tradition of local builders. The duplex is constructed of concrete masonry blocks with wood-framed, tiled gable roofs. The concrete blocks are basically laid horizontally, but over the windows they are placed vertically. Was this for decoration, or is this established construction form at that time? Under the gables, there are vertically placed wood inserts with rounded ends, which are purely decorative. Roof overhangs have rounded ends. The wood trim is painted green. The masonry blocks are painted white. The base of the building on the east side has a fieldstone veneer. A cistern, which is not visible, was placed below the foundation, and the main spring of the ranch was located at the midpoint of the northern edge of the building. Even though the duplex was to be the 3rd building to undergo renovation by the city of Las Vegas, funding has not been available, and the building is used primarily for storage. You can see this by looking through the semi-lucent window glass, as shown here. As a side note, the duplex was reportedly occupied at one time by movie actress Terry Moore during her long affair with Howard Hughes. This would have been at some time between 1952 and 1953, when Hughes was living in Las Vegas and Moore had been separated from her first husband for several months. Contrary to popular legend, Moore was not at the ranch awaiting a divorce decree from the state of Nevada. The divorce from her first husband, Glenn Davis of football fame, took place in Los Angeles, California. Now let's take a walking tour around the building so that you can appreciate its structure in more detail. The duplex. called the duplex because, as you can see, there are two doors, which means there are two living quarters in this area, and they're both about the same. So from the duplex, you had that gazebo on the eastern side, and you also had access to a barbecue pit, and you were right next to this gazebo, which used to have a refrigerator in it so that you could keep your drinks cool, and you were right beside the area that was cordoned off as a fish pond, over which the bridge goes. So clearly the duplex was for the super elite, but then the quarters over here, the main guest house, was for the elite. Again, there only being 4 rooms, but I read somewhere where they had built some other structures, many of which have been torn down. So as business grew, they did expand along with it. But these were the most substantial buildings. This park has so much potential. The city could renovate some of these buildings and furnish them as they would have looked back then, and that would have made for a really nice place to visit and to get a sample of what the lifestyle on a dude/divorce ranch was all about. Of course, we're passing the root cellar where canned goods and canned vegetables were placed, as well as the super locked liquor locker behind, which is probably under this thing here. This is the backside of the duplex. Now, I'm not sure about the roofing on these things. I read somewhere where they had green roofs, and in restoration, a lot of that is probably changed. I'll have to do more reading about that. This is the end of the loop that goes around the duplex.